What's up, everyone? This is Kenya, and I am the editor of All Things Loop. And as you should know by now, Loop stands for Live It, Own It, Obtain It on Purpose. We connect with leaders and influencers of color across all industry, giving space to their voices and celebrating the power that lives within their stories. And y'all, this HBCU edition, I am super excited about it. Not only am I excited about it because I went to a HBCU, but Tia went to a HBCU. So we're doing another cover story on Tia Johnson. Tia, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Thank you for being a part. Considering you have to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning every morning
Yeah.
to get started. So I appreciate like the sacrifice, and then I had to switch the days. So I truly appreciate that.
It's all good. It's all
Mm.
good.
So I didn't tell you offline because we was talking offline, y'all. But
Mhm.
I didn't tell you offline was like I'm really living through your life because I've always wanted to be a news anchor, and
Mhm.
I've always wanted to work on the news. Being
Mhm.
from Indiana, the Chicago news is always the biggest things, and
Yeah.
just so thank you for your service and just for doing it for me for
Oh.
once. The ones that didn't do it, but that you're
Yeah.
actually doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I did not even want to be in news at first.
Yes, talk about it.
No. I went to Prairie View A&M University.
Yes.
For nursing. Okay, I was dead set on being a nurse. Everything, I was ready to make this nursing money, all this. And then at PV, you have to take, like, you go to the actual campus at Prairie View for your basics. You
Mhm.
take a test called the HESI
Mhm.
that you take to get into nursing school. And then like the nursing school campus and all that is in Houston.
Okay.
So I took the HESI and I failed like two sections, maybe by like 2 to 3 points.
Wow.
That's when I said, you know what, I'm not doing this no more. This is not I'm going for it. And so that was you know how you get that little break into
Mhm.
like Christmas and all this, like a month out or whatever. So it happened right before that. And so I spent that time like really fast and praying and wondering like, and I was a college kid, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
how we adults did it, but I was like, Lord, please, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe communications, but I used to talk mess about communications majors because I was like, yeah, it's easy. Y'all making easy A's. Y'all ain't doing nothing.
Definitely not
I was
easy.
like, it was easy, but like, and I'm gonna do communications. So I told my parents, I have a mom and a dad, and then I have
Mhm.
a stepmom. My parents are divorced, but we're all really close. So when I say my parents, mom, dad, and stepmom, they were like,
Mhm.
journalism, you're not gonna make money. And I was like, I know. But I was just like, I felt like this was what I was good at doing.
Mhm.
But I wanted to do entertainment news.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget my brother. He was the main one. Was like, I could see you doing this. Like, you just have the personality. And brother Mark at
Mhm.
my church that I grew up in, he was like, okay, communications. So I changed my major. I started hustling. I the first semester, I just did classes. Then from there, I was interning. I interned at Fox 26 in Houston, and then in the summer, I interned at I believe it's KRBE, a radio
Mhm.
station in Houston. And then my senior year, for the full year, I interned at KBTX in College Station. So that's when my parents was like, "Oh, you serious?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And I liked it, but with news, to do entertainment news, you have to start in news somehow. And
Mhm.
then you have lifestyle shows. So that's what I thought I was going to do. I wanted to work for like Entertainment Tonight. Like, I
Mhm.
wanted like that. And then when I got in news, I was like, I really like this. Like, when
Yeah.
I started interning, I was like, I think I'm gonna stay in news. And with entertainment news, you got to be in people's business too much. I just didn't
Right.
keep up with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got started in this. My first market, I was in Lufkin, Texas. So
Mhm.
that's East Texas. I was in Lufkin, Texas for a year. Then I went all the way to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was
Okay.
cold. I
Yeah,
was
very cold.
it was like, oh, they laughed at me at my last station because I was like, Green Bay made me a woman. They said,
Right.
I said, I mean, a woman. Like, I was far from home. I had to learn how to drive in the snow. Like, I
Yeah.
really,
A big
really,
difference.
yeah. And it was no diversity, like, at all. for one moment, I was the only Black person at my station. There was one guy behind the scenes who I think was mixed or Black. But
Okay.
besides that, on air talent in the newsroom, I was the only one until maybe like my last few months.
Okay.
In the newsroom. And this was all during or toward the end of my contract in Green Bay was when the George Floyd incident happened.
Wow.
So, and, my coworkers, they were good at that time. They reached out to me about it and stuff, but like I really didn't have nobody to talk to about
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, so I was in Green Bay. Then I went to Kansas City, Missouri. In Kansas City, Missouri is where I started to learn how to anchor news.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I hope I'm not talking too much because I'm giving you my whole story.
No, I love it because wait a minute, because the thing about it is like the questions I was gonna ask you, just answering them. So go ahead, girl.
Okay. So I went to Kansas City, Missouri. Was a reporter there, and then that's when I started, practicing anchoring. And over the time toward my last year, they started letting me fill in on the weekends as anchoring. And then, wow, like Kansas City really embraced me. Like that's kind of my second home. The people there were great. My coworkers. I had a time in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then I started applying for jobs, and I got the job in Beaumont, Texas, as a morning anchor. And so now, being from Houston, Beaumont is like a good hour. Like I'm literally on a good day, maybe an hour 40 from my mama's house.
Good.
So I've been away for 5 years, living in the Midwest, Green Bay, Kansas City, and now back in the South. I'm up the street from my family. Everybody say y'all, it's good. And so this is the first time I've been like a full-time anchor. So I'm just, trying to perfect my craft in that role. I'm grateful for it. I'm having a good time here. My alarm clock is not as pleasant, but we good. We good.
Yeah. Some of the things that you said, with just moving around, I think we don't think about all the things that we have to do. Like that's grind mode, to have to go to Wisconsin and then go to Kansas City and then, really work your way up. And now you are like the news anchor, like the morning news anchor. And so like, that's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. So Perry View, is that where you went?
Prairie View, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So what made you decide to attend a HBCU?
I mean, it wasn't, I'm about to say it wasn't an option, but that was the only option almost. Like my mom went to Prairie View. She didn't finish, but she went to Prairie View. My cousin went to Prairie View. She didn't finish. My auntie finished and got her master's there. My aunt's husband, my Uncle Raymond, coached there. And so, you know how every school has a rivalry school.
Yes.
I was at SU in Houston, and they call it the Labor Day Classic. So when my uncle taught at PV, we go to every Labor Day Classic game, going up in the band and the cheerleaders, and I cheered all from like elementary to high school. So I love to see the cheerleaders and stuff like that. In high school, I considered going to other schools and PWIs, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't care about those ACTs. So Prairie View welcomed me, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I graduated from PV. My brother went there. He graduated. He was there my senior year as a freshman. And I will never take it back. Like HBCU is the way. I mean, nothing, no offense to anybody who chooses to PWI and stuff, but especially like when you go into the real world, or like me going to Green Bay, maybe a year out of graduating, you'll never get that back. Just Black teachers, Black friends, just black everywhere. You'll never get that back. And so while going into the real world, it's not all everybody's Black. I'm so happy for like
that moment.
Yes, 5 years out of my life, everybody looked like me. They understood me.
Yes.
So yeah.
I love it. I always say, and I say it all the time, and I'll never like really take it back. I left Indiana 18, a shy young girl. But when I came back home, I was 22, 21. Like I knew what I wanted. Like I knew like what I wanted to do. There was no question about it, And so I feel like Lincoln University changed me. Like,
Yeah.
it developed who I was. And that's really a big point, a big part of your life when you go the school that you go to, because that tells you like where you really gonna do in life, what you really
Yeah.
gonna do. And so Lincoln
Mhm.
definitely shaped me into who I wanted to be. So
Mhm.
absolutely. And legacy, absolutely. I love the
Yeah.
legacy of
Yeah.
HBCUs. Like when you talk to people about HBCUs and they say their mother went, their father went, or their mother and father met there, and it's
Yeah.
just so great to hear.
Mhm.
So absolutely. When was the last time you went to homecoming?
Girl, I'm going in 2 weeks. But I went last year too. So I went
Okay.
in 2017. That was the year I graduated college. I went that homecoming. I was living in Lufkin. I was
Mm,
already working in news. Drove down. My brother was, I don't know if he was a junior or a senior. I think he was a junior.
mhm,
I stayed with him,
mhm,
and I went to homecoming, boom. And I hadn't been able to go back. So for a while, and then last year, my friend Jewel, which we met at PV, but she lived in Kansas City too. We randomly was like, let's go. We
yeah.
got a rental car. Like we got that rental car Monday, Friday, 7 o'clock. We drove to Texas.
Wow.
We stopped at my mom's house to take a little nap, and then we drove to PV.
That's what homecoming make you do now. Listen.
I'm telling you, it's nothing like it. Like
Yes.
we was just texting before this. I said, "Girl, I got my fit ready." This year we ready. Like we're prepared. We're gonna be there.
Yes.
And when you were talking about just like the decisions you make by going to
Mhm.
and stuff, I was in my head thinking, you never lose communication with the people you meet too.
Absolutely.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have long time friendships,
Mhm.
and I have one of my line sisters, she texted me the other day and was like, "Yo, you are due for another homecoming. When is you coming back?" And it
Right.
just made me think about, just the family that I developed there, because that's what it is.
Mhm.
It's really family there.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I'm excited. So what are you looking forward to when you go to homecoming?
The food. The food and just to see people.
Yes.
Because I feel like when we went last year, we saw people, but it was such a quick trip.
Mhm.
This time, girl, we got Airbnb. Like we ready.
Oh,
So
y'all ready, ready.
yeah, we're going out there Friday afternoon. And we'll
Good.
tailgate Friday and we'll tailgate
Mhm.
Saturday. So I feel like I really get to see people this time and really just, and even that drive, like
Mhm.
knowing we had to drive the next day back. Like we
Yes.
got there Saturday morning,
Mhm.
came, went, and we left Sunday afternoon. So even knowing now, like we can breathe, it's just
Yeah.
gonna be such a different experience. So I'm looking forward to the experience, but the food,
Yeah, the food.
the food,
The food do be on here, like, the food
fruit stand
be
can I go
ready.
to?
Right. Which food truck can I taste
Right.
this year? Because it's gonna be
Yeah.
some good food there.
Oh, 100.
I love it. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's talk about news anchoring again, because,
Okay.
I switch back and forth anyway, because I love HBCU, talking about it,
Yeah.
thinking about it, anything, but news anchoring, like, how has this transition been for you? I know that you've been to many, but how has the transition been for now? You're like the girl, like you're the woman that's
Yeah.
there. How has that transition been for you?
It's been good. My station has been very welcoming. My coworkers have been welcoming. I can tell that my managers like value my opinion and what I
Mhm.
bring to the table, and that's a very good feeling.
Yeah.
I would say it's different because when you're a reporter, so people understand like as an anchor, you're at the desk. You're the
Mhm.
one saying this just happened tonight. Tia Johnson is there and tells us more.
Yeah.
So I'm like in the studio all the time. As a reporter, you're out covering those homicides. You're out covering that good news too. And as a reporter, in the new city, that's an opportunity for you to see the city when you're covering stories. You're meeting
Mhm.
people when you're out doing that. Anchoring, I go to that station and I'm in the city. Now
Yeah.
I have done a couple of community events, but
Mhm.
I have to see the city on my own
Yeah.
time versus reporting. You see different things. You're in different parts of the community just because of your story.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to go to community events and be seen because honestly, it would just be from work to home, home
Yeah.
to work. So that's a difference for me. Being the face of a station is different for me. A lot of people think because you're on TV, you like the attention and
Yeah.
stuff. And I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's
Hmm.
cool. But I do stuff just because I like to do it.
Right.
So when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I want to take pictures," it's like, girl, like I'm not Beyonce. Like that's how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
but to them, they're like, I wake up talking to you and stuff. And I'll tell
Right.
you, this is my second week on air here. This is my third week at my job, second week on air. And I kid you not, I've gone to uh, 3 community events so
Mhm.
far, and at least 2 people have known me first name, last name.
Wow.
And I don't say that to brag, but I say that on the whole, like, people really rock with you. Like,
Yeah.
morning news.
Invest in who you are. Yeah.
Yes, they wake up, they're watching that news as they get their morning started, and they see you. And so it's it's weird. Like, it
Mhm.
happened to me in Kansas City. Don't get me wrong, but it took time. I was in Kansas
Yeah.
City for 3 years. I've been here for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and people know me. I mean, that, like, oh, and you had on that red dress today. I swear. Oh, y'all watching.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, I'm just Tia. I'm just same old outgoing, goofy Tia.
Mhm.
So when people are like, "I want to take a photo with you," of course I do it, but I'm just
Mhm.
me. Like, look, I'm waking up in a bonnet just like you. Nothing different.
I think about when you said that they just wanted a fresh face, they wanted freshness. And so when they saw you, like, sometimes when people you may not know them, but you connect with them. So that's what I see. And I've seen some of the things that you've done, and you're so vibrant. Like, you're vibrant and you connect. You always connect with them. So I think it's just because people just connect with you real quickly.
Yeah,
You just have that personality.
I thank God for that, because it's kind of natural,
Yeah.
honestly. It's just how I am.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking, in this field, you kind of have to have it, or you got to learn to have it.
Yeah.
Luckily, it just kind of,
Comes to you.
it took time to be
Mhm.
comfortable in who I am and all that. But now you
It's
got
just
love. Yeah.
yes, I love that. So let's talk about just the journey to, HBCU and just transitioning into that. I When you was on campus, did you struggle with, certain things that you like, my HBCU really helped me through X, Y, and Z. Just
Mhm.
to encourage, the people that's in college now and maybe struggling with whatever that you were struggling with, and just get some encouragement.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Mhm.
At PB, it's communications major, so it's
Mhm.
not broadcast
Yeah,
journalism.
okay.
And I started late.
Okay.
So as far as, for example, some schools have mock newsrooms, or like mock news, where
Mhm.
like you can actually turn on and watch their news station. It's like that, like in Mizzou or
Mhm.
whatever, or like FAMU actually
Yeah.
has that. We have that at PB. So while I love my HBCU, some of the opportunities that other schools or universities were able to give their students, I didn't get. And
Mhm.
so I had to hustle, which
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. If you want to get in this business, you need to get internships. Don't get me wrong, all the likes on Instagram, TikTok, and stuff will help you get seen, because stations want people who others are watching, because they're gonna watch you.
Mhm.
And that helps with ratings and stuff. But like, knowing how to tell a story, write a story, pick up a camera, shoot video, edit, you're gonna get that from, class and just those internships, because we didn't really solely have broadcast journalism at PB.
Mhm.
I did those internships like crazy, and it
Yeah.
really helped me out, and I really got to see what it would be like for me being in news. And I like to tell interns all the time, it's like driving a car. You could be in the passenger seat, you got to steer, you got to do your blinker and stuff, you're going to press your gas, you're going to press your brake, you can see the driver doing it. But when you get behind that steering wheel and
Mhm.
start to drive, it's totally different. And
Yeah.
that's exactly how it is, from interning and being in the business. But the light bulb will start to like click
Mm-hmm.
on, because you're like, oh, this is why they did this when I was interning with them and stuff. So, and I don't know if that answers your question, because I know you asked if, Prairie View did something.
Yeah.
The resources weren't really there at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but so I had to go get them. But
Yeah.
I will say that the professor, uh, Miss Dalvest, she was a new professor when my like last semester senior year, and I wanted to start a news program at PB, and she tried to help me get it, but it was just hard to do. But now
Mm-hmm.
they have it.
Oh,
And a
wow.
new studio and everything. I don't know exactly everything, like, and they will try to have their own shows and stuff. So it's there,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't. And we had a studio and stuff when I was there, but it wasn't like really being utilized like now.
Okay. Awesome. So maybe they will name that studio after you since you started.
Right, I told her, I said, I'm back now. Like, have me come talk to the kids or something
Yeah.
now. So yeah.
I love it. All Things Loop is about living in your purpose. So how do you feel like you are living in your purpose now?
Um, you meet so many people
Yeah.
in news, especially when you're out on stories every day. I can't speak as much for anchoring. Well, I guess I can, because people feel like they know you when they watch you on the TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just in news, you have such in journalism, you have such a way to impact people, or to just like, I don't know how to say it. You just meet different people,
Yeah.
and you can really make their day or make it even worse. And so I feel like when it comes to purpose, I'll say just the people I meet. I not every day, but I try every day to say, okay, God, like, how can I be used today? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
use me how you want me to be used, whether that's just a connection with someone in the newsroom, or someone that I meet out on a story, or a community event.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like making people feel seen. That's been my biggest thing. One person told me when I started in news, um, was to never lose your heart. Because
Wow.
you're gonna get so used to reporting on murder. You're gonna get used to talking to that crying mom because her child was killed, or that family that lost a loved one because of domestic violence. I hate to say it, that's news.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Um, and when I first got in news, I remember my very first time. It was a fatal crash. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
the person died, and I was getting video and everything. And they sent another reporter out to me, and I'm like, "Why they send you here?" And she's like, "They just wanted me to check on you." And I'm like, "Okay." And she said, "We can't get video of the body." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "What body?" And she said, "Right there." And it was the little white cover they put over the bodies. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is like a little candle thing for mosquitoes. It
Mm-hmm.
was this from me. And I didn't
Oh,
even know. And I went to the car crying my mama, then I called my daddy crying, and I'm like, oh, they died, and because I never experienced that.
yeah.
I died. Then once I got to Kansas City, fast forward maybe 3.5, 4 years later, some stories still tug at my heart. Now,
Mm-hmm.
used to telling the story, but I always remember what someone told me. Have a heart. Even though
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to telling the story, that family is not used to this pain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so with that, I check in on people.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, it's people from Lufkin, my very first market, still write me on Facebook or whatever. People from Green Bay messaged me and was like, "Oh, we love to see that you still doing this."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say any of that to brag, but I say that to say that, like, I still try to keep connected to people. I can't
Yeah.
keep connected to everybody,
Right.
but I think for viewers it means a lot, because as we can see, they really feel like, oh, you on TV. I
Mm-hmm.
think it means a lot for you to come into their homes, and like treat them good, like you're just not using them for a story.
Right.
So honestly, to me, the purpose comes in that the people lives that I cross, how I impact them by just telling their story, being there, being nice, treating them like a human,
Mm-hmm.
making them feel seen, because they do feel like your local celebrity. And you could be rude, or you could be very just nice and open. And so to me, that's the purpose I find in this.
Yeah, I love it. How can we follow you? Like, what's coming up that we can support?
I really don't know yet, but I mean, you can always follow me on my social media just to keep updated with what I do. I've been trying to do more TikToks behind the scenes, seeing some recordings
Good.
and stuff. But yeah, I mean, honestly, as of now, nothing big. Really, just trying to get in the groove of this anchoring, and all that.
I love it. I really do. So thank you so much, Tia. Give us your social media handles so people can follow you.
Yeah, everything is at Tia Johnson TV. That's TIAJOHNSON and then TV.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thanks for having me.
Tia. Thank you all so much for tuning in into our interview with Tia. This is the cover story for another cover story for the HBCU edition, and I'm super excited for you guys to read it and to view it. So you guys please go follow Tia on all social media outlets. Until next time.